Okay, so in this video I'm going to be doing a little analysis on a setup I've been using, which is the Yonex SV98 Lite, and in it I've got it strung up with Solinco Outlast 1.25 and in the mains, and in the crosses I've got Tecnifibre Black Code 4S 1.20. So the tension on that is 50 pounds. And we're going to have a look at a few clips from a recent practice match I played, and we'll give it a little review, see where it played well and where it didn't do too well at all. So yeah, let's get to it. I also want to mention that I've got string savers in a crisscross pattern across the bottom second and third cross string. So this usually lowers the launch angle without increasing the shot speed too much. And so it's something I like to do, and plus whether it's placebo or not, I feel like it's more comfortable as well, which is important for a setup like this, which is quite stiff and can cause discomfort if it's not executed correctly. So something worth noting, but yeah, let's get into some of the clips. And we'll start off with this clip. This is with the newer balls, so I am getting a little bit of help from the speed of the ball here, and it shows when I'm defending a little bit. The setup is very solid from the back of the court, which helps me to counter my opponent's pace, and when I do so, hitting a neutral shot actually stays neutral rather than just sitting up and allowing my opponent to dictate play, which he's more than skilled enough and powerful enough to do. So a good positive there. When the balls are new, I'm able to neutralise, stay in the rally until sense an opportunity to take the lead in the point. So yeah, good backhand pass there. Let's move on to the next clip. So during this point, I start off on the back foot because of the shorter second serve. But even with just a usual rally ball, I'm able to neutralise effectively, especially on this forehand coming up to a decent length, push my opponent back, and I'm able to get back to neutral in the rally. And we stay neutral for a couple more shots until I'm able to open up with the inside out backhand that draws the error. So again, another example of the setup being very solid. With the newer balls, I'm able to stay in the rally even when I'm on the back foot, and when I get the chance, take the initiative. Of course, it doesn't always work out, and this is an example of it not. My opponent straight away on the attack and doesn't really give me the chance to neutralise by approaching the net and hitting a very good drive volley. So good play on him, good adjustment from him, but it's to be expected. He's a very good player. So this is one more example of the newer balls staying a bit lower and zipping through the court to my benefit. Even though my return is quite short, it presents a little bit of a challenge, and my opponent tries to neutralise with the backhand slice, but I'm able to run around onto my forehand, get him on the run, and open up the court for the winner. The next clip has a positive and a negative of the setup, and we'll start off with the negative, which is the serve. That first serve isn't directed as well as I would like, and I do find it difficult to do so, and on top of that, it doesn't have the pace really to get through the court and trouble my opponent, which you can see there, he kind of just bunts it onto the baseline and is able to get onto the front foot straight away. Luckily, the setup allows me to counter his aggression, but at some point I feel like he's going to take control of the points, and I'm going to be on the back foot too often if I don't get the serve correct. this is an example of me getting the serve correct with the placement and pace. And it's a good point, but doesn't happen often enough with this setup. So of course it's a technique issue as well, but something to bear in mind. Perhaps there's some thing we can look at in the setup that would make it easier to place the serve, or at least increase the pace so we don't allow our opponent onto the front foot as often as was happening. So as you can see, that was a second serve that just set up on the forehand and he missed it, but I cannot rely on him missing those sorts of returns in order to win points, because it's just not going to happen often enough. At some point he'll find his rhythm and I'm going to be in trouble off of my serve. So the placement and the pace was a concern with this setup. I highlighted this point as an example of my play deteriorating as the balls get slower, so I try and neutralise the first serve with a blocked return, but of course it's short, but it sits up as well, whereas before it was staying a tiny bit lower and zipping through a little bit more of the underspin. It wasn't doing that at this point, and so it presents a bit of a problem. It means I'm going to have to hit through more of my returns, and hopefully to a decent length, but yeah, it didn't happen in that point and I got punished for it. And I highlight this point, or the following 2 points, as an example of my opponent still being able to hit through the court even when the conditions are slower and I struggle a little bit more. I need those quicker balls, or at least the slicker conditions, to help me out. So that return is simply because I'm not able to break through my opponent and I'm starting to overpress. And here we have a point where I actually get the first serve in. Again, he returns it pretty easily. And I hit a few decent ground strokes, but he's taking control of the points more and more until he's able to drag me out wide and eventually force the error. But again, this happens too often once the balls get slower, and so it's an issue that needs to be addressed. And sometimes even when I hit the return where I want it, he'll just clean the backhand cross court like that. In that situation, there isn't much I can do. So I'm going to highlight these 2 points as an example of the kick serve not being effective enough. I've really got to get more movement off of it, or more pace, or ideally a combination of both, because again, he just sits on top of that return and cleans it for a winner. And the follow-up point is similar. Missed the first serve, and the second serve just doesn't have enough movement or penetration to at least keep me neutral in the point, and straight away I'm defending from the back of the court. He's really getting into the game at this point, and even though he misses the forehand volley, it's not a winning play in the long term for me. So I've got to address the first serve issue and the second serve issue. On a positive note, there's not that many double faults, but again, we need to progress this further. And then finally, we've got this point where my return is not good enough and he's able to straight away hit it for a win. As you see, in the first set, when the balls were new, that type of shot would have zipped through and caused issues for my opponent, but as the conditions have got slower again, it's allowed him the time to wind up and hit the winner. But overall, I was very happy with this setup. It did allow me to stay on the front foot with the newer balls as the conditions got older. It was a bit more difficult, but I didn't feel like the lack of control ever got to a point where it was unplayable, and so I was able to stay in the match, keep it close, and play some good rallies. We both played a decent level, so I was happy with that, and hopefully we can take this further. I've got some ideas. I might increase the tension, keep the strings the same, keep the racket the same, just increase the tension from 50 upwards to the 60 mark, see if I'm able to maintain my aggression. And so when the conditions are slower, hopefully I'll be able to hit through my opponent at some point, but that's a work in progress. A good match overall, a good setup. I'm really happy actually with it. But yeah, let's see what the future holds. So again, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, it might be worth checking out the other videos on this channel and staying tuned for future videos that are due for release soon. And so until then, everyone, take care.